Tonight is the first night of City Council in Spokane, happening on Wednesdays. We have Councilmember Paul Dillon joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. One of the big items that you will be talking about is the Renters' Rights to Cooling Ordinance. First off, good morning. Tell us, what is it all about?
Yeah, so the Renters' Right to Cooling establishes a baseline for what needs to be adequate cooling in rental units. It allows people to deduct $500 from their rent for the installation of a device. This ordinance has been through a lot of different iterations, and so we did pass an amendment yesterday that addresses a lot of the concerns from landlords, from folks who've raised issues around affordability that I think will offer a good opportunity for us to get there.
What does adequate cooling mean? In an original draft, I remember it said about 80 degrees.
Yeah.
So what does adequate cooling mean?
Yeah, I think making sure that your health is basically not adversely impacted. And so when we see rising indoor temperatures, it can impact your heart rate. If you have respiratory issues, cardiovascular, and so really trying to center the public health impacts of extreme heat as it relates to tenant health.
You said that you addressed some of the concerns from landlords. Talk about some of those concerns from the opposition. Some people are concerned about how this could impact affordability. What would you say to that?
Yeah, so the new amendment allows an extension for compliance if a building retrofit might face undue hardship. So if it's a historical building, if there's older electrical that might require more of those expenses that have been outlined, that this would allow for more time, as well as some goals of the first iteration of the ordinance to try and get to 2032 as a goal to have the adequate cooling provided across the city.
So talk about the rollout of this, because it kind of would be in phases. So right now, as it stands, it would be for one room, right?
Yes.
And then how would that be modified over years? Would it include more rooms in the house, the entire house?
Yeah. So right now, that's a great question. So it's really focused on the dwelling unit because a lot of our air conditioning, the way that we have new buildings designed, it would already meet the thresholds of the ordinance that are adequate cooling. And after Jan 1, 2027, a lot of new construction will already be compliant with the ordinance. The way it's written now, though, that would extend to also bedrooms. That's where there's still a little bit of, I think, tension with some providers. And so I think that we are going to get there. This has been a very intentional process. You know, it's not been my way or the highway.
Sure.
There's been a lot of collaboration and stakeholder feedback. And so I think we're in a really good place.
And then finally, I want to ask you, can you talk about enforcement? How will this be enforced?
Yeah, so certainly under Washington state law, the Residential Landlord-Tenant Act, it is incumbent on the tenant to, raise some of these concerns, and so they do have a path through Washington state law. We have a lot of great advocates that will want to work with tenants and make sure that landlords are compliant, and then it's also on us. I mean, I think as a city, we have to make sure that both landlords and tenants are aware of rights, aware of resources, and so that often falls under city code enforcement to make sure that landlords are compliant.
Okay, and people can weigh in tonight at City Council?
Not tonight.
Not tonight.
Yeah,
What's
so
tonight?
I think people will still show up and testify for
Sure.
open forum, but because of our new amendment process, which does allow for more communication and transparency, it'll now have a first reading on July 22nd, and then it'll be up for a final vote on July 29th.
Okay.
It's getting hot. We're already feeling it.
Sure.
And so the parts of the ordinance that do commence immediately, such as being allowed to deduct from rent, we want that to go into effect immediately because we're already hearing from constituents they want to see this pass.
All right, Councilman Paul Dillon, thanks for being here this morning.
Yeah, thank you. Really appreciate it. Yeah, thank you.
We'll be right back.